Good evening and welcome along to the Algarve for the 7th round of the Sierra European Racing League Championship here for Tier 2 at the Portimao circuit. Located in Portugal on the Algarve, as I said, and we are ready for a qualifying session that will decide the grid for the upcoming race, and we currently wait for people to make their moves out the garages. I can't see anyone down the pit lane with some movement on down at Aston Martin for either Jackson or Ghost. It is Ghost, first one to hit the track out here in Portimao. And the Aston Martin will be the first one to set a lap. I'm currently the only one out on track. Very slow for everyone to get out of the pits so far today. Is right on board the Aston Martin, who tackles this 15 corner circuit, first introduced into the calendar in 2020. Featured another race in 2021 and has not been on the calendar since, but still remains with us in the game here. As second Aston Martin joins Ghost on track, and we do have a few more cars coming out of the pits by the looks of the track map. As head around through the up and down second sector. Such a roller coaster this track. Got not only do you have to worry a lot about lateral G's, you got to worry a lot about longitudinal G's as well. But as we come to the final few, and this being the final proper corner of the lap, it's going to be all flat out from here down out of 14 through to 15. This is where you put your car up into qualifying mode, and you will be attacking this circuit for the first time as we head down towards the roller coaster down turn 1. We'll have a McLaren right on the apex to meet us, and that is not a good qualifying lap to start. And that was, is that not Makalaka? That was Nitrobite sitting right on the apex when Ghost was going to set his lap. That will most certainly be being sent to the stewards, as Ghost will have his teammate coming up quickly behind, so have to dive out of the way. So Ferrari dives into the gravel to get out of the way, but Ghost still decided to continue on. No, dives out for his teammate, who will be the first one to set a lap this session. As we head through to the second sector, and the roller coaster begins through turn 8, and this is where you go up and then you start going down before you go up once again, before you get the very open entry for turn 11. Turn 10, a little kink there to greet you as you come round. A little bit of oversteer there for the Aston Martin as we head back down to turn 13, to almost the highest point on the circuit, might even be the highest point on the circuit, as we head through turn 14, last proper corner, as turn 15 all the way flat out. Gotta hope you got a good X out of 14 to come to the line, and the time will be a 1:17.1 for all the drivers to beat Ghost with a 1:43. He was not he got blocked in the first corner. Makalaka will be the second person to set a representative time coming across the line. 1:18.4 for the McLaren. As we now have a few more coming towards the line. I'm trying to see that is as Jesus actually goes to the provisional pole. 2/10th improvement over Jakeson. Williams is ahead of the Aston Martin. As who we got now? Kinamino just started a lap. I think that's one of the Aston Martins. Yeah, that was Feral Dude who crossed the line to go second. Coming up to the line now is Hako DK. Goes 5th. Not a representative lap time, I assume. Will be going again later on to get that lap he wanted. You can see the brake lights or the harvesting lights flashing, showing he's not on a lap. So we've got more and more people going to start their lap. Velvet Thunder being one of them through turn 1. Does not get blocked like before as you have a yellow flag. Does invalidate on the entry to turn 3 though, and that is going to be backed out, as I think Ghost will finally be setting a potential time. No, sees that one is invalid, does not improve on his 40.3, but might be going again in fact. You get the telemetry up here. The RS is enabled. The RS open, and that is actually invalid, so will not be improving this time around, and will be diving into the pits, I imagine. Nitro Bite, currently on a lap, heading through the second sector, was the one who impeded Ghost on that first time around. And where will he be able to place himself amongst the pack? Only half the grid set a lap time so far. So we head through 13 and 14. Running for the long run down the hill. Turn 15, the number 3 McLaren. With DRS open, coming to the line. Nitro Bike goes P3 with a 17 dead. About 10th off provisional pole so far. Not that far behind Feral Dude, in fact. As we'll see what the gap to leaders are. About a 2/10 covers the top 4, with Jake's in about a quarter of a second behind. A lot of people in the pits at the moment, probably not on a lap. Hako DK, are they on a lap? Possibly, with the ERS going down. Quite low on battery though, but is about a 10.5 up on their previous, or their fastest lap, which I don't know where that will place them, because he did not set a representative lap last time around. As we head down turn 15, and where will the only Red Bull in the race so far place himself, as they're actually harvesting coming out the final corner to provisional pole, with I expect even more time available in that lap with the flashing rain light at the end of that lap. But it is currently provisional pole for Hako DK in the Red Bull, and I think that's probably going to be majority of the first runs done. We could have Datu going for their first run, Crispy Chicken as well in the Mercedes going for first run as well. As we ride on board, some yellow flags in sector 2. I think that's just traffic slowing down. Misses the apex a little bit there for 13. Comparators their exit out, and again for 14 as well. Lots of understeer in that Mercedes, as it will be a run towards the line, very compromised. Where will this place them? With the DRS opening now across the line, it is a 20.4. Not the best lap we've had so far, as we do have, I think that's Jesus getting out the way and towards turn 1, and is not going on for another lap. Head to Datu is actually invalidated, so also will not be setting a provisional lap time. And one of the Aston Martins had a bit of a spin. That is Ghost with front wing damage and stuck in the gravel by the looks of it. Managing to get going again. I assume waiting for the AlphaTauri to go by, and we'll be speedily trying to get back to the pits to replace that front wing. We do have just under 9 minutes left in the session as one of the McLarens goes past, trying to get a bit of a slipstream. That is Mako Lako in the McLaren, probably 1.5 seconds off the pace. Has been struggling a bit with the brakes since he recently moved to load cell pedals, but will he be able to improve on his time here? More yellow flags everywhere. Did improve the second sector, almost held up the Alfa Romeo though, and has decided to back out with the Alpine as well, almost getting stuck behind. I think that is Dato now. No, Dato on another invalidated lap as Kinabino in the Ferrari, trying to take the alternative track layer and doing some lawn mowing through the grass. That is not the racing line, but is getting well out of the way for everyone else. Jesus going for another run is almost a tenth up on his time. That will be good enough to get back provisional pole. So head through the second sector, has to keep it all together to try and retake his previous pole time. Heading through turn 11, turn 12, towards turn 13, back up the hill. And I didn't quite notice the second sector split there. So we will be in for a surprise when we get to the end of the lap. Around turn 14, final proper corner of the lap. Heading through turn 15 down the hill. Will be DRS open in a second. There we go. Across the line, does improve by 2.5 tenths. Takes back provisional pole with a 1:16.6. Akko DK has a little bit of a higher target to try and take back Nitrobite for the first sector. Half a tenth down for the McLaren. Will they be able to find any time through the second sector? This is pretty much where most of the time is found in this lap, as you've got lots of fast flowing, hard braking through the second sector. As we look here, is 2 tenths up on his previous time. That will be enough to get him into the top 4, maybe the top 3 if he's able to nail this final sector. Round turn 14 we go for the McLaren. Yellow flag once again in sector 1 is another Ferrari. As he head down the hill towards the line, what will it be for the McLaren? It is a 10.5 down on provisional pole, but is up into the top 3. As actually, I didn't notice that, but Roberts also managed to get himself into the top 3. I will watch Akko DK though, who was on provisional pole, not improving much for the first sector. Where will they be in the second sector? Again, not a massive improvement, just under a tenth. That will not be enough to retake provisional pole for the Red Bull. Heading round turn 14 once again. As we ride on board, what would it be coming towards the line? It is a big improvement in the final sector. Almost 2 tenths found there. Back to provisional pole as the top 3 are covered by 77 hundredths of a second. It is close up the front with pretty much enough time to fit in one more run in the session. Velvet Thunder finally got a time on the board. Still waiting for a time for Georgiev, Datu and Kinabino. Datu though is on an invalidated outlap, but will they be able to finally put in a time for the Alpine team? Coming towards the line, trying not to invalidate through turn 1. Just kept it within the track limits. Try not to extend too wide for turn 3 as well. Get your nose in nicely and get to the middle-ish of the track for the uphill left-hander of turn 4. Has a little bit of a toe from the McLaren. I think that is ahead. As you break into turn 5, diving out of the way is the McLaren. As you head to sector 2. Through the high speed stuff, bit of a difficult braking zone into 8. You head down towards 9 and then back up towards 10 and 11. Again, a difficult braking zone, a kind of straight line but not really. Gets the car in nicely, kept it within track limits. 52.4 for the second sector as we've got the final couple of corners of the lap. As we go back on board with the Alpine, is it going to be just strays a little bit far off the apex, but it is a valid lap. Where will Datu be able to place himself for this first lap towards the line? It will be a 17.6, P8 currently just over a second off the current pole time. But as we have drivers coming out for their final runs, Nitrobite and Jakeson being the first to come out and to get their tyres in the preparatory window. Ghost, I think, was on a hot lap, has decided to back out. We'll have time for one more if he has the fuel for it. So will he have the ERS? That's the question. We've seen the battery get quite low towards the end of the lap. So if you do not have your battery at tip-top condition for the start, you will not be getting that ERS help towards the end of the lap. Anyway, I want to ride on board with SERL. Dude has put in a decent pole position challenge at the start of this session as we head for the final runs of this qualifying. Will be DRS open and a final push lap for the Alfa Romeo as we head to turn 1. Keep it within track limits, does so, keeps one tyre within, keeping track limits to turn 3 as well. Hits the apex relatively nicely, keeps the car in the middle of the track for that uphill turn 4. Can't quite go on the throttle there with the uphill left-hander, but as we go down towards turn 5, hits the apex nicely once again. Again, another easy place to go a bit too far out wide if you're carrying too much speed through the corner. As we head through sector 2, again gets the car in nicely for turn 8 as we head down the hill, turn 9 and turn 10 coming out before you get to turn 11, the next braking zone. Again gets the car in nicely here. Is it an improvement through sector 2? It is. 3/10 almost. If he has a good final sector, he could be on for the challenge of pole. And that is a nice apex for turn 13. Will it be a nice apex for turn 14? It is. He's done all he needs to do in the first few sectors of that, but has he found enough through the final sector to take provisional pole? No, it's only third place, quarter of a tenth off. P1 does the same time as Jesus, who is also on their final qualifying lap. So it's currently all close between the top 4 as we head to the second sector split. Will Jesus be an improvement? 1/10 improvement, that will be just enough to take provisional pole. As he has nothing in his way, maybe a slight bit of slipstream from the Ferrari ahead through the final sector. And the final turn of turn 15. Qualifying is now over. These are the final lap times as the Williams comes to the line. It is not enough improvement to take pole position. That just leaves Robert, who is invalidated in fact, and Hako DK has invalidated too. So, will anyone else? Nitrobite had a good improvement for the first sector. Could he also be improving for the second and third as well? He could be on for a pole position here if he keeps this time up. Let's head through to turn 11. And I want to see what that sector time will be in the second sector. It is just enough currently to take a provisional pole, but will he have the battery to get to the end of the lap? He needs to have a good final sector here because it could be a pole position for the McLaren. I don't think we've seen a pole position from either of them so far this season, but it is very low on ERS. It's going to be very close to whether he's able to get it across the line. No, runs out of battery, fails to improve enough out of the final corner, so it will be Hako DK on the pole position. I don't think anyone else is improving. Makalako invalidated as well, so Hako DK wasn't able to get the final run in, but will be starting from pole position for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Here are the results then of the qualifying session. Hako DK's second run was good enough to take pole position for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Neither Jesus, Feral Dude, nor Nitrobike could challenge him at the final runs. Is Robert P4, Nitrobike P5, Jackson P6, Ghost P7, McLaren on the third and fourth row. Datu, Velvet Thunder and Makalako are the remaining of the top 10, with Crispy Chicken and the two Ferraris of Kinabino and Georgia failing to get off the back row. Meanwhile, as we load into the race, we're able to see what the weather will be providing us with. It is clear skies as Georgia manages to rejoin the session. Clear skies for the race, so I not expect to see any rain, and it will be hopefully a straightforward strategy for all the drivers. As we wait for everyone to finalise their strategy before we get the formation lap. Everyone's really taking their time to get ready. Here we go. Ready for the formation lap. And we'll be able to see all the tyres. And we do have a bit of a mix. Hako DK, only one of the top three starting with the medium. Jesus and Feral Dude choosing a soft compound tyre for the start of the race. Pretty much everyone else on mediums apart from Velvet Thunder and the two Ferraris also choosing to start the race on the soft compound. Unfortunately, it looks like Georgia will not be able to join us for the session. As everyone warms their tyres up, we'll go on board with our pole sitter in the Red Bull. We wonder what strategy it will be. We haven't got the graphic telling us what it's going to be yet. I do expect it to be probably a one-stop soft to medium, unless we get any safety cars that will interfere with us, as our pack is very spread out for the formation lap. Let's see if I can invite Feral Dude, although I don't know if I've got a Feral Dude on here. I have to check if Steam allows me to invite Feral Dude. I do not have Feral Dude as a friend, unfortunately, so I will not be able to invite him back to the lobby. We'll check. Can't see a Feral Dude, so I will not be able to invite. Meanwhile though, just waiting for Velvet Thunder to line up on the grid. But here we go, as the race strategy comes up a bit too late. It will be a one-stop, but here are the lights. As it is lights out for the Portuguese Grand Prix, and everyone seems to be getting away fairly evenly. The Williams of Yeast managing to jump on the soft tyre, but does force out the Red Bull a little bit as we head towards turn 3, and it's still side by side between the leaders. Jesus on the softer tyre will have the better grip at this stage, and it's still side by side through turn 4 for the leaders. As we head down towards turn 5, I think Jesus has backed out a little bit, side by side a bit further down. Nitro Bite under pressure from Ghost. Jakeson got himself up to P4. Both Aston Martins now jumping the McLaren as we look further down. As I think everyone's still settled a little bit down. As actually Farrell unfortunately not able to get back in the lobby. But as you look at the lead, it's still very close between Hako DK and Jesus. Could we possibly see a move towards turn 1? Slipstream will be very powerful here with that massively long straight. But here we go, everyone's still in tow pretty much. Roberts up to P3 off the start. As we head through turn 15 for the first time this race across the line to start lap 2, and it will be Hako DK who leads from Jesus, from Roberts, from Jakeson, and Ghost is the top 5. Jesus looking for a bit of a movement towards turn 1, not quite doing. Robert, I think, going a little bit defensive from the Aston Martin behind. And Aston Martin's living very big in the mirrors of the AlphaTauri. As you look at the tyres that everyone is on, Jesus only one of the top 8 on the softs. Next one is Velvet Thunder down in P9. As the gaps are going a little bit wacky, you can see top 4 and everyone's still pretty much line astern from P1 down to P7. But when we get DRS enabled next time around, we could be seeing a little bit of movement from everyone. Especially Jesus, who is still looking very close to the back of that Red Bull on the soft tyre. We will have to use the medium in the next stint. So whether it will work for him or not, we'll have to see later in the race. But we head down past turn 15 once again. It'll continue to be Hako DK who leads from Jesus, who is still very much in the slipstream and not using any of the ERS by the looks of it. DRS enabled for the first time. We'll be getting a dose of it between turn 4 and turn 5. As you look behind, everyone's still very close together, following actually Jakeson making a move on the AlphaTauri. A little bit of contact, DRS open for the both of them, but I think Jakeson has managed to get that move done as we head to the hairpin of turn 5. Everyone through there nicely. As Jakeson up into the podium places, has a lot of pace here by the looks of it. Will he be able to fight Jesus and Hagadiko, though Jesus on the soft tyre. Roberts also looking under pressure from the other Aston Martin of Ghost. Looking to the outside a little bit, no way through there. As when we head on to the start-finish straight, once again, everyone will be having DRS. They're almost breaking the 1 second barrier from Jakeson there. Almost did pop up to a second briefly, but I think everyone will be getting DRS here, and I want to ride on board with Jesus as we head through the DRS zone for the first time. Has overtake enabled through turn 15. I think this could be pretty much a slam dunk move. DRS open for the Williams to the outside, and I think that is pretty much move done easy for the Williams up into the lead. Will he now be able to pull away from the Red Bull? That's the question, as the Hako DK is coming back down the inside for turn 3, forces Jesus wide, rejoins back on track, and then again just joins in front of them. Who will get DRS? Neither of them get DRS as we head towards turn 5, so it will be a straight braking race. Hits both still continue to be side by side. As again, as we head towards the second section, surely not side by side through here. No, Hako DK decides to back out of it. Jesus has taken the lead, but that has dropped them back once again into the clutches of the DRS behind. I think I briefly saw Ghost try to go for a move on the AlphaTauri of Robert. Not quite able to do though. There's more movement at the back between, I think, was probably the AI Yeah, AI fight. Hopefully Feral Dude will be able to join us soon. But as we head once again towards the DRS zone, it is Yeezus who leads from Hacker DK, who doesn't quite have the gap to come back at Yeezus, I don't think, but he will be diving for the slipstream from the Williams, as will everyone else be, and I think we could be seeing a move from Ghost, maybe, no, not quite, DRS for the AlphaTauri to good, so we do have a bit of DRS train here, which sometimes during the racing sometimes makes it better. But I think if Hacker DK stays within the DRS of Yeezus, this will be a very good thing for them, as Yeezus is the only one on the softer compounder tyre and will be theoretically faster at this stage of the race. But that doesn't seem to be happening with the DRS train. He's still able to keep up. If all these guys go to the soft tyre for their final stint, I think Yeezus will be in a little bit of trouble, though he will have a pretty good undercut. And I think starting to see a gap form between Hacko and Jakeson. It might be a bit tough for Jakeson to keep in the DRS repeatedly, lap after lap, especially if these two don't fight. Again, we come through the final sections of the lap. I think Feral Dude has rejoined us, though about 16 seconds or so, 20 seconds off this fight to the start finish straight. Once again, Yeezus taking a very tight line. Will that be a bit bad for his tyres? Everyone with DRS open behind him. Here goes Hacko DK for the lead once again. That has moved easy to turn 1. Will Yeezus fight back like Hacko did? No, not quite. Stays in second place. That allows the Aston Martin, the AlphaTauri, to keep up. As I think something's happened to Nitrobite. Yeah, Nitrobite has fallen off this battle, has had some kind of incident, being caught by his teammate Mako Lako, who doesn't seem to quite have the pace so far this race. Velvet Thunder and Crispy Chicken, as Velvet Thunder picks up a 3-second time penalty. Battle at the back for these two. He's struggling with the rear of the car a little bit. No soft tyres, not really helping him too much at this stage of the race. I think Hacko DK is starting to pull away from Yeezus a little bit this time around. Feral Dude, though, rapidly closing on these guys after his unfortunate start being in AI mode. Back up to the front of the grid, though, as we head towards the DRS zone for the 7th time this race. Well, actually, no, it'd be the 5th time this race. My apologies. Yeezus a bit too far back to make a move. I think these gaps just starting to spread out. And look at the amount of ERS he's used already. No wonder he's struggling to keep up. Hacker DK, he's pretty much got a full battery, pulling away on the harder tyre. Compared to Yeezus on the softer tyres, used up all his battery. Pretty much the only one who's got nothing left of the top 5. And again, Ghost not quite able to get past Roberts, and I think Yeezus kind of catching up a little bit. That has also fallen away from this battle at some point, which I didn't quite see. 8/10 the gap between P2 and P3. That gap is always on the verge of opening up to the 1 second, but never quite really opening up to the 1 second. And I think Yeezus has pretty much killed his race, unless he just manages to not use any ERS and keep on the back of Hacko. He will struggle to keep the pace of these guys, especially when Hacko is on 87% ERS. Jakeson still on that bubble, 9/10. He'll just be safe this time around in the DRS train. Hacko using a bit of that ERS to try and pull a bit of a gap from Yeezus. We'll have DRS though. We'll use this as we come across the line to start the 8th lap of this Grand Prix. Yeezus just about, again, 3% towards turn 1. He just needs to not use any overtake at all if he wants to have a chance to fight with these guys. And that rear end is looking a bit loose, as these soft tyres will start to go off some point soon. And actually a move down at the back here. Ghost trying to get past the AlphaTauri, as he's been trying to do since the first lap. Not quite able to do it though. Not quite able to get back to his teammate. We'll have to sit behind a little bit longer. Meanwhile, we have a battle here. Feral Dude and Crispy Chicken. And that is pretty easy done. The Feral Dude has a lot more pace than the Mercedes at this point in the race, I think. Velvet Thunder also a bit too far back. We'll now start the hunt to close down that 10 seconds to Mako Lacko and the other McLaren of Nitrobite. But once again, back up to the lead for the DRS train to begin once again. Everyone's still within DRS. Yeezus still struggling with the ERS. Will it be 3 seconds, 3% in towards turn 1 once again? Nope, he saved 3% this lap, up to 6% ERS. So it's slowly but surely, probably a bit too slow, gaining that battery back in the Williams. It's very close out of turn 4 here, too far back for a move into turn 5. And the Williams will still continue to sit behind the Red Bull, as will the Aston Martin continue to sit behind the AlphaTauri. Not always seems just close enough, not quite close enough to make a move though, as that has now opened to 1 second between Robert and Jakeson. So could we see a change here? Robert used up quite a lot of his ERS as well, bubbling on that 1 second window. If it drops outside 1 second, this week could be quite big for these two, but I think he's just going to keep within the second if he gets a good exit out of T14 to get the DRS of Jakeson ahead. Oh, it's going to be very close. Oh, I don't think he's done it. He's just outside that 1 second window, so this could give an opportunity to Ghost, and you can see the rain light of that AlphaTauri flashing as now Jakeson goes for a move on the ailing battery of the Williams. They're going to be side by side. Oh, that's a lot of curb for the Aston Martin there, as still manages to keep it on the track. Ghost not quite able to get past the AlphaTauri. I don't think he will be able to get past here. No, not quite. Back in the DRS, that was a bit of a saving grace for Robert. Jakeson's mistake there over the cut. Excuse me. At Velvet Thunder getting past Crispy Chicken. He was quite way far back earlier, but has managed to get past the Mercedes. Battle for the final point of the race. Up into P10 for the Haas. A gap starting to open up at the front. This DRS train is starting to fall apart. Hako DK with his 8-fold fuller battery than Yeezus behind, as we had Datu retired from the race. Will this be a safety car? Safety car deployed. This could change the strategy for everyone. What has happened to Datu? He's gone off into the wall there, out the exit of turn 11. Bit too eager on the throttle possibly, but as we look at the leaders, oh, almost a spin there into the pits for Hako DK. As everyone else follows in, what will the strategy be? Yeezus possibly on the better option here. Will he be able to go mediums to the end? Also an opportunity for him to refill the battery. Into the pits for the Williams is a set of mediums going on to that Williams. He will have the softer advantage once again, as I think everyone else go on to a set of hards. Hards for the McLaren. Will it be hards for Mako Lacko as well? As this could be our one and only stop of the race. Into the pits for the McLaren. Another set of hards for everyone. McLaren as well. Hards for Feral Dude. Velvet Thunder, will it also be hards? Could Yeezus be the odd one out here? Anyone with a set of mediums? It is a set of hards for the Haas. And is it going to be hards for the Guido Bino and the AI of Georges as well, to make Yeezus really the odd one out here? Ferrari pit crew cutting out both Ferraris in. It is a set of hards for the Ferrari. Will it be another set of hards for the AI? No, set of hards for the AI. So it is everyone on the hards apart from Yeezus on the medium tyre. 22 laps that medium has got to survive. Got to do exactly what he didn't do in the first stint, take the lead and pull away if he wants any chance of having a chance in this race, unless he does get lucky with another safety car later on. Will be a little bit of a lengthy safety car, I fear, with having to wait for the two Ferraris to close up to the back of the pack as we look at the position gained. Jakeson and Makalako, biggest gainers so far this race, up 3. Feral Dude with his issues at the start of the race, biggest loser, down 5, as well as Datu, who has retired from the race. You see the gap from the leader, gonna be about 50 seconds that Kilobito's gonna have to catch the safety car. As we follow the leaders, Dato, Paco, DK led from pole so far. The users did get a better start. The users still P2, though the only driver on the entire grid on the medium tyre at this moment in time, with Jakeson making up places in the Aston Martin. Ghost as well, trying to follow but not quite able to get past the AlphaTauri of Datu. Nitrobite we saw have a little bit of an incident earlier on, but this safety car could be a bit of a break. Makalako just doesn't seem to have the pace of the top 6, and I fear could be under pressure from Feral Dude, who's this safety car has given him a bit of a break after his issues at the start of the race. We are just over a third of the way through this race, and I think we'll be getting one more lap behind the safety car. As the two Ferraris will catch up, and we'll be getting one more lap as we head across the start-finish line. Lap 13 of 33. Take a look at who holds the fastest lap currently of the race. It is Hako DK with a 20.3, or pretty much a 20.4. Almost exactly the same time as the top 3. Jesus, about a just a hundredth of a second off that. Jakeson being 2.5 hundredths off the fastest lap of the race. I do expect to see that fall once we get lighter on fuel towards the end of the race, especially if we get a late race safety car. Right aboard of the Red Bull. I do expect on the exit of turn 11 we will see those lights go out on the top of the safety car. Safety car in this lap, as we will be going racing at the end of this lap, and Hako TK will now back the field up to choose when to go, let the safety car pull away, and the Red Bull will be the one who chooses to go. It does feel like quite a long time you have to wait. you had to choose carefully when to go, because if you go too early, you will be giving everyone a good slipstream down towards turn 1, especially when you have Jesus, the only one on the medium tyre, going, and he has chosen to go, and he has maybe caught Jesus out as Ghost looking to get past the AlphaTauri in towards turn 1. Hako DK also going defensive. Down the inside goes the Aston Martin up into P4. And now any chance for Jesus to get through as the AlphaTauri actually coming back on the Aston Martin. And I think Ghost is just gonna have this out of turn 4 towards turn 5. Maybe Nitrobike could get involved with this. No, maybe a little bit too far back. To Aston Martin's looking strong, either for the wider line. That's allowed his teammate to get through. Struggling a bit of traction. Does Mako Lako. It's going to be side by side through turn 7. And Nitrobike does regain that position. Kino Bino up into the points, as mentioned in chat. Crispy Chicken not getting the best restart. Has made a little bit of a mistake there at some point. Jesus, though, as was at the start of the race, right at the back of Hako DK, and will be trying to find some way through. DRS not enabled for the first 2 laps, but he will have the slipstream. He will have a very full battery, and he's already used quite a bit of it to get keep to the back of Hako DK. As Hako not using his battery, and it is going to be a nice dose of slipstream for the Williams as he'll look to the inside. Sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And it's going to be side by side between the two as we head towards turn 1, and it is a regain of the lead for Jesus. Will Hako DK be able to fight back like he did last time? No, not quite. Jesus takes the lead. Used a lot of his battery though. That was his Achilles heel in the first stint. Will he be able to keep that battery? Still using a lot of it. Too much, I might say, as well. Thinking that Red Bull's going to attack him back. Meanwhile, the 2 Aston Martins sits comfortably 3rd and 4th. With Datu looking, Roberts looking not quite, looking like he doesn't quite have the pace he had at the start, at the first stint. She had up and down through Sector 2. And it is currently still a little bit of a DRS trend, though not quite as close as it was in the first stint. Makalaka already fallen about a tenth, just over a second away from Feral Dude, who will be looking to try and get past Nitrobite at some point soon as we head down turn 15 and on to the start finish straight once again. Jesus continues to lead from Hako DK. Another fastest lap. Used half of his battery. Hako DK still in a good position in terms of battery. Both have pulled away from Jason, though what they failed to do in the first stint they've done within 2 laps of the restart here. DRS will be enabled from now on. Jason, think just getting back in the DRS is at the cost of Ghost now falling outside the DRS. And yeah, that is top DRS for the top 3. And Ghost will have his work cut out trying to keep Robert behind, although Robert is also struggling to keep within the second window of Ghost, as now Jason's fallen out the second window, so pace has picked up for the top 7 at this restart compared to the opening of the race. I think Ferradu could be one to watch. He had a very good quali, buggered at the start of the race. Another car running the number 3. I didn't realise we had so many cars running number 3, but he is very close to back of Nitrobite as we head on to or towards the DRS straight once again. Seems to be Yeezus leading from Hako DK. Yeezus with a bit more of a gap though. Hasn't used too much of his ERS, so sets fastest lap of the Grand Prix once again. Overtake for Feral Dude, a bit too far back to make a move. I think that's the case for everyone, a bit too far back to make a move. But Feral Dude is the closest. That is actually Crispy Chicken. Oh, going 3 wide across the start finish straight here. And that is a double move for Crispy Chicken. Getting up. Oh, there's contact between the Ferrari and the Mercedes, and Crispy Chicken has been spun round. Has that all not been a nice feeling for both the Ferrari and the Mercedes? As Velvet Thunder will look to capitalise off of this, has a pretty much full battery. And we'll be trying to get past Kidabino. Not quite doing in the middle sector though. Meanwhile, top of the grid, Jesus. A little bit better battery management than before. Still not as good as Hacker DK. These two have pulled a 2.5-second gap. Has got a yellow flag, and that is a spin for Kino Bino. And will that let Crispy Chicken back through? He's not going full throttle, interestingly. It will be a fight between these two further down the grid. Fastest lap for Hako DK, still just within the DRS. Users used all of his battery once again, though Hako DK has sort of used it as well. Jake's in a bit of no man's land, and Ghost Ghost Roberts Nitrobite and Feral Dude all within a DRS train, although I think Feral Dude could be looking to make a move here, as I think Velvet Thunder again has made a mistake, and that's going to be... Is it going to be 3 wide once again across the start-finish line? Bit of deja vu here, as I think Crispy Chicken does manage to regain the positions he's lost. And up into P9 from the same position from a few laps ago. Jesus though, really using that medium tyre, pulled out a second gap just about on Hako DK. He's really making Hako DK use his battery here. They're both pretty much on the same amount, so it's a lot of pushing at the front, but I think Jesus has managed to do it. He's pulled out of the DRS of the Red Bull. And yep, DRS free, so Hako Jesus will have that pressure off a little bit from behind. They're almost equal on the amount of ERS across the line. Hako DK will hunt to get... He did close that gap back to close to a second though. But these two will continue to fight as the fight for 4th position is continuing. Again, Feral Dude just not quite doing it. Just not quite able to close in enough to make a move. DRS though. As we look back from Ghost, who will probably be getting a bit of a slipstream from his teammate. No DRS though. As the battle of the back continues, as Velvet Thunder gets past Kinobino, Ferrari drops outside of the points. And will now try to hunt Crispy Chicken once again. Both of them, or all of these guys, pretty much 22 seconds off Mako Lako's with a pretty lonely P8 at the moment. Just struggling with the car this race. Back up to the battle for P4, and I think they're all still a bit too far, as actually Feral Dude looks very close to making a move on the McLaren of Nitrobite to the inside. DRS open for the Alfa Romeo, and that is up into P6 for Feral Dude if he's able to get the move done and towards turn 1, and does so. Kinobino picks up a 3-second time penalty. Will Nitrobite to come back in towards turn 3? No, not quite. That is move done for the Alfa Romeo, and will now set his sights on Robert in P5 to try and recover something from this race. As we saw Crispy Chicken having a bit of an excursion across the gravel, a bit of a mistake. That's let Velvet Thunder and Kinobino back up into the points. So the Mercedes is now back down to P11. These guys are really changing order every lap, it seems. Though Jesus has managed to pull a 2-second gap to Hako DK behind, both of them on the same amount of ERS. I think Jesus has managed to do what he wasn't able to do before and comfortably pull into the lead on his softer tyres. Will Will the medians be able to last to the end of the race though? I think that's going to be the question. Will Hako DK be able to come back on his harder compound tyre? Ghost still under pressure from the 3 cars behind him. Still managing it though, as we have a spin in turn 1, and that is Mako Lako, and I think that is wing damage for the McLaren. He did build up a big buffer to the cars behind, so I think he's still pretty much, I think he's got the pace over the guys behind, so I think he will be able to pit and come out comfortably ahead of Velvet Thunder, which is a 15-second gap, maybe around Kinabino Crispy Chicken, but I think he will have the pace to overtake those guys pretty easily. So we round on to the start-finish straight once again. Dude also looked quite close to the back of Roberts here. He's using a lot of his battery to try and get close. Will open DRS. Roberts did get a good exit out the final corner. Really a lot of all the battery used for the Alfa Romeo. Will it be a send down the inside? Does put his nose in. Oh, a little bit of a late back out there, but just avoids contact. Used a lot of the ERS though of that Ferrari engine, so we'll probably be struggling a bit to make overtakes again. You look at Ghost and Roberts, they've both got 30% plus. As insult to injury from Mako Lako picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Gets overtaken by Velvet Thunder, will probably get overtaken by Kilo Bino as well. And Crispy Chicken. So we'll have to fight his way back up into the points paying positions for Mako Lako, but he does have 11 laps remaining in this race and still all the chance for a safety car. Let's have a look at what tyre he put on, in fact, and it will be the soft tyre for that McLaren, so I expect him to be pretty rapid in the closing stages of this race. Only has about 11 laps to do on that tyre, and I think he will be a bit of a challenge, but a good practice for him to try and get back up into that P8 position. As we go back up to the top. Oh, actually looks like Nitro Bite's fallen out of this battle a little bit. So it is going to be Feral, Ghostby, Robert v Feral Dude for the P4 position. Jensen has pulled away pretty well from this pack. Right on board, looking back at the Alfa Romeo. Little bit of a wiggle there from the AlphaTauri on the power. Still comfortably within the DRS of Ghost. It's just edging but not quite on that gap to overtake. We need to be within 5/10 to make an overtake with the DRS, and he's just dropping back to 9/10. He's just not able to get the final sector that the Aston Martin ahead can get. Ghost though has been saving a little bit more of his ERS, not quite close enough to make a move though. I think he'll be trying to save a little bit more battery so that next time around he will be able to make that move. It's very close in towards turn 3 though. Just have to back out a little bit. Just enabled once again for these lot. A little bit of a lockup we heard going in towards turn 5, manages to get it stopped though. As Mako Lako is closing pretty rapidly on Crispy Chicken. I think this will be a pretty easy move done for the McLaren into towards turn 1, probably even before turn 1. It's a full battery as well to attack with. And DRS open, and I think that is even almost before the start-finish line. Mako Lako manages to get up into points paying positions once again. Now has Kinobino So he has picked up a penalty. I wonder how much of a penalty that is. Oh yeah, of course, 5 seconds for speeding the pit lane. So has about 13 seconds to catch Velvet Thunder, and then has to put another 5 once he's overtaken them, and will pretty rapidly catch Kino Bino, who's made a bit of a mistake there. Getting out onto the marbles. Ghost picks up a time penalty. That could be crucial for the battle at the front there. Actually, Robert was getting very close as they head back up the hill. That was out of turn 1 as actually Makalaka there. Another mistake from the Ferrari. Got up quite easily towards P9 as it will be a hunt down. Another time penalty for the Ferrari. Again, that rear of the Ferrari is just not looking stable. Something we've seen quite commonly with the Ferrari in real life. Makalaka already close a second on Velvet Thunder through the final sector. And if he keeps doing that every lap, he'll catch up in no time. Farrell though, right on the back of the AlphaTauri at the final sector. Will he be using the overtake to try and close in as much as he can? No, not really. 3/10 is the gap. They will both get DRS. That AlphaTauri is flashing though. So I think Valdude has tricked him into using all of his ERS. So maybe next time around, flash when you get below 10%. Next time around, I think that AlphaTauri could be quite vulnerable from the Alfa Romeo. DRS open. Looking to the inside, too far back to make a move. Let's get it into the corner nicely though. Will just have to sit and stay as close to the AlphaTauri as he possibly can through the middle sector to get the best opportunity out of turn 15 to make a move on said AlphaTauri. Speed through the roller coaster section of sector 2 through the second sector. That is very close for the Alfa Romeo. Got over double the battery that Robert has. Overtake enabled out the final corner. See that AlphaTauri flashing means they are below 10%, and this could be the opportunity that Roberts needs. That or Faldu needs Robert not getting the DRS, and in the end that was a pretty easy move for the AlphaTauri, as I think they're now trying to hunt down Ghost, possibly with an opportunity of getting Jakes in as well if he's got the pace, but does get the DRS off the lapped car, I think. But Ghost, yeah, they're all pretty much equal on ERS. And does just pop back into the DRS, or the 1 second window of the Aston Martin ahead. Was very much on the edge. Will be probably using a lot of his battery to try and close back within it. Round turn 14 we go. I think he is just within the DRS of the Aston Martin. Yeah, so if he stays there, he will not have to do anything, just have to wait, as Ghost does have that time penalty. Crispy Chicken comes into the pits at the end of this race to put on a set of softs, I assume. Yeah, that is a set of softs on that Mercedes. So it's looking to push at the end of this race. Meanwhile, that battle for 5th. dude has pulled away from Roberts and is getting close to the back of our Aston Martin. Has a slightly better battery situation than the Aston Martin, and does look to have the pace on the hard tyres currently. 5/10, that's about the gap you need to make an overtake. Out of turn 14 we go. Ooh, lost a little bit on the power. It will be DRS for the Alfa Romeo, and the slip through as well has got a yellow flag. I think that's Georgia having, or Kinabuno having a bit of a spin, not quite able to close in to the braking zone. And there will have been traffic in the form of the Ferrari ahead. Probably won't get in the way with though, but probably will. I think that did give Ghost DRS. Yeah, gave both of them DRS. A little bit deep into turn 5, a bit wide on exits. No, let's not hope that wasn't a warning for the Alfa Romeo. As we look further down, Lacco is on the back of Velvet Thunder. Could be a move into turn 1. He does have a lot of the battery, so does Velvet Thunder though. Does manage to carry a lot more speed somehow through turn 15 or 13. Yeah, 15, sorry. Is that rain? Is that rain on the McLaren I see? Some drops of rain streaking off the bodywork there. Could we be in for a little bit of a surprise towards the end of this race? I think I do start to see those drops of rain. 3 laps to go. Could this race turn on its head if it rains hard enough? Could we see possible intermediate, very tricky conditions towards the end of the race? Feral dude though, still trying to get the Aston Martin, but that does look like quite a bit of rain, and quite a bit of rain that could wetten the track quite significantly at the end of this race. As Feraldi has just fallen outside of that 1 second window as the track starts to become greasy. I think we'll see those a lot of people start to struggle on their tyres as the track becomes slippier and slippier. That is quite a lot of rain, and I've got to assume that at least by the end of this race we will be getting quite a wet track. All the gaps over a second now, apart from of Georgia getting close to the back of Crispy Chicken, but nothing happening there. Lacco has pretty much successfully pulled out that 5 second gap on Velvet Thunder behind. We look at our leader, Yeezus, pulled out a 4 second gap on Hako DK. Has looked after his battery quite well though, but those mediums will be wearing, and will the more warm mediums feel a bit worse in these wet conditions, as the track is just not getting as wet as I thought it would be. I thought it would be getting a lot wetter by now, but it still seems to be staying somewhat stagnant. And Jesus as well could be getting a bit of a surprise dose of DRS from Velvet Thunder. Oh, and you just see them back of that wooden start to throw out, and I think I'm starting to see drops of rain on the track, and I think it will start to head towards the intermediate conditions. Velvet Thunder coming into the pits, Lacco coming into the pits as well. Are these for a set of intermediate tyres? It is for a set of intermediate tyres, serving his 5 second time penalty. Intermediates goes on to the McLaren. Will it be Inters for the Haas as well? Waiting for the McLaren. Oh no, did jump in front of the McLaren. Are they gonna? No, they're not going to get jumped by Kino Bino, but these guys going on to the Inters. Nitro Bite also gambling on a set of inters. These guys have nothing to lose, and I think it is an intermediate track. So hoping that other people make mistakes. DRS for Roberts as he is closing to the back of Feral Dude now. Feral Dude struggling in these conditions as that track does look quite wet now. Almost as if it's Zandvoort from the previous weekend. Just these puddles forming on the track, and I think these are quite clearly intermediate conditions. Doesn't seem to be phasing any of these guys at the moment. They're still pounding round quite easily, although the pace has dropped off quite a lot. Could Roberts don't have any chance? I haven't seen the message for DRS disabled yet. Oh, look at the track though, it's so wet. Going through the final sector, you gotta be so careful on the throttle. Jakeson coming into the pits gets a time penalty on the final lap of the race. Surely that's not the right call. You're not going to be making up a good 25-30 seconds just for a set of intermediate tyres. Could he have thrown away a podium here? Has he gifted the podium to Feral Dude, in fact, after the penalty for Ghost, unless he's able to pull out 2/10, which he might be able to do. Nitro Bite picks up a penalty as well. Roberts is right on the back, goes down the inside of Feral Dude. DRS has officially been disabled. It is now intermediate conditions. You can just see these guys struggling so much to keep the car on the track. And that, I think Ghost has pretty much pulled out that 3-second gap now, so we'll be getting a time penalty. Jakeson will not be closing 16 seconds in one lap. As he comes around the final corner though, Jesus has braved all these conditions and old medium tyres. He took the right call at the pit stop for the medium tyres, and in a very wet end to the Portuguese Grand Prix, will take the win in the Williams as a reserve victory. Hako DK will come across the line in second, and it will be not the long-time Aston Martin Jakeson in third, as Feral Dude's gone onto the grass. He's struggling a lot. It will be Ghost picking up the final podium position. Roberts in P4. Jakeson be able to catch Feral Dude. I think Feral Dude will be safe, but Jakeson, after a strategy blunder, coming into the pits on the final lap, will finish. Oh, not even finished. He crashed before the finish line there. He's marked as a DNF. Nitro Bite comes across the line, takes P6. Jakeson crashing across the line. Velvet Thunder and Makalako have already DNF. Makalako lost out to Velvet Thunder in the end there. We just wait for Crispy Chicken now to struggle on his intermediate tyres to come to the line, getting beaten by an AI. It will be across the line for the Mercedes, and that will be race done. And after a hectic final 3 laps, as the rain came down here at Portugal, is Jesus who gets driver of the day after struggling the first stint. Breezed through on the final stint. And will take the win ahead of Hako DK and Ghost in P3. Let's look at the final results. It was Jesus who took the win, with Hako DK edging out on the fastest lap just ahead of the Williams driver. He takes P2. Ghost lucks into a podium position after a strategy blunder from Jakeson. Roberts P4 after a mistake from Feral Dude on the final lap. Feral Dude finished at P5 with Nitro Bite P6. Jakeson, after that strategy, finishes P7. Velvet Thunder finishes ahead of Makalako, Kiliabino, Georgia, Crispy Chicken, all a lap down after that race, and it is Datu who is the only DNF of this race in P13. Well, hope you all enjoyed this tier 2 race with some rain to add excitement at the end. But next time out though, we will be on the streets of Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, so hopefully you can join us then.